Welcome, everyone. We'll give everyone a few more, maybe about a minute to join us. I see Catherine, Victoria. Okay, we have some people coming in.
Okay, Christine, let's go ahead and get started.
Great. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for attending our panel on how to pack faster, lighter, smarter. Before we get started, I want to go over a few quick housekeeping notes. At any time during the session, please feel free to leave your questions, comments, or any technical support needs you have in the chat box. Remember that the chat box is public, so everyone can see what you're sending. We will be starting our panel discussion. We'll have a panel discussion for 30 minutes, and then we will leave 10 minutes at the end for Q&A for your questions. This session is recorded and it will be available post-event. And I want to encourage everyone to follow us at Glamhive and engage with us socially using our event hashtag. It's Glamhive Live, hashtag Glamhive Live. We also, before we start, want to quickly say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Mary Kay Global Design Studio. Mary Kay and Mary Kay Global Design Studio celebrate a world where beauty, fashion, and empowerment are synonymous. Mary Kay Global Design Studio partners with a variety of celebrity artists worldwide who set the latest makeup trends on the runway at some of the most exclusive Fashion Week celebrations all around the world. So I want to now take a moment to first introduce myself. I'm Christine Solomon. I'm an e-commerce editor at Yahoo Life, and I am a full-time world traveler currently based in Playa del Carmen. And I'm joined by three wonderful panelists today. We have travel expert and author Anne McAlpin. Welcome, Anne. We have fashion, beauty, and lifestyle editor Adrienne Faurote. Welcome, Adrienne. And we have fashion director and stylist Mimi Lombardo. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. I'm so excited to talk about fashion and travel.
Oh, happy to be here.
Okay, so, all right. So now we're all thinking about travel again. We have travel on our minds and we need to know two things. What do we pack and how do we pack it to look effortlessly amazing wherever we jet off to? Now, I know that when I'm getting ready for a trip, I look at my wardrobe and I want to pack everything. And I know that I can't because then I have to drag those suitcases with me. So, Anne, I wanted to ask you, you wrote, excuse me, actually, before I ask you how to pack, I'm hoping you can tell us just a little bit more about what you do.
Of course. Thank you. I'm a packing travel expert and I have traveled to over 80 countries, over 25 years of professional packing experience. And I demonstrate to everyone how to make travel easier, how to pack lighter, and how to have a great trip.
Yeah. Okay. So I really need you for this one, me and my two suitcases. So you wrote Pack It Up, the Essential Guide to Smart Travel. What is your best tip for limiting the amount you pack to just a carry-on?
Well, it can be a challenge to get it all into a carry-on. So I like to, first of all, start basic around basic neutral colors so that you calm down the color pattern. And really, I'm a visual person, so I like to look at the items first, put the outfits together. And we usually take too many clothes, so less shoes. So that's the first thought. Everything should mix and match and not too many shoes.
And so you said color coordination is a part of that process. So
that's most important, exactly. Absolutely. But around one basic neutral color, maybe two, add a splash of scarves, absolutely, to extend it.
Okay, should we add a pop of color if we're bringing mostly neutral?
Absolutely, whatever that color fashion is during that time when you're traveling, and you can just always pack the same neutrals and then add the splash of color.
Okay, I like that. Okay, Mimi, I would love to know a little bit more about what you do before I ask you how you pack.
Sure. Well, I'm a magazine editor. I am a magazine editor, but I worked at T Magazine, so I did a lot of traveling there to shoots. And then I spent a long time at Travel and Leisure, so spent a lot of time shooting globally also. So there's also packing, for photo shoots and personally. So I'm currently also, Ritz-Carlton magazine is another one that I've worked for and traveled for. So had a lot of fun of, travel experiences with those magazines.
Okay, great. So you know your stuff with style and travel. So I want to ask you, what are the good multifunctional fashion pieces that we should be packing for our trips? And what are these pieces and how do you suggest wearing them in different ways?
Well, I'm a big fan of the slip dress, the 90s slip dress that's currently back in style, because you can do so many things with it. You obviously wear it alone to dinner and really dress it up. And then you can also put a t-shirt under it. And then you can also wear it with a pair of, loose fitting silky pants. So there's a lot, you could put a chunky sweater over it. And even in fall weather, you can put boots and tights. So it's really I find a multifunctional item. But, what really happens in travel, I think, is that you become very inventive yourself because you have this limitation. And so I think just naturally and organically, you find multi-uses to the things you have. But, and then I can also say that I think everyone knows is like invest in a great pair of black pants that, slim leg pants but really put some money into it so that it lasts you a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's obviously that goes, on the plane anywhere and can be used with anything.
Okay, so but what kinds of slip dresses and black pants are we wearing this spring and summer? What does the hemline look like on the dress, and what does the shape of the leg look like on the pants?
I think to be classic, to be versatile, you need to be more classic in terms of the pants. So I would get just slim leg pants. I know that, wide legs are in and, there's a lot of variety out there now. And I know, but, a slim leg is very classic. And that's where I think you have to go there, for traveling and to have that just versatile classic piece in your wardrobe. So I wouldn't go super fashiony with anything. And as far as a slip dress, a little pattern, it could be to the knee. A little pattern is fine. A little floral pattern, that's nice. Just as Anne was saying, you have to limit your palette to, I say to 3. Try your best to keep it to 3 tones. So as far as a slip dress, there's so much out there. It's just basically, it has the little slip straps and usually a little fitted here into the knee. So there's a lot of variety out there. Yeah. But I think when you're traveling, you need to keep things classic. Classic is the word I like to use.
Yeah, I was thinking when in doubt, just a black slip dress would probably be a really good staple.
Black is good. Black is always good.
Okay.
But coming from a fashion perspective, I like to have a little more, I come from a more fashion, it depends on the trip. I've traveled a lot for the fashion shows, and then you have a huge, people, editors and people attending like to wear, fun clothes. Part of traveling is enjoying the clothes you're wearing.
Right.
Experiencing that and dressing like a local. So, it's, I know you have two suitcases. I've been like that too. It depends on the trip. I think clothing is part of the fun of travel, wearing different things. So, but you have to kind of force yourself, as Anne said, to limit the colors. And black is obviously great for anything.
Yeah, well, I think it was Anne who just said that you shouldn't pack too many shoes. So I have also this issue with, if I have these beautiful slip dresses and outfits that I've brought with me, what shoes am I packing without taking up too much space in my luggage? So Mimi, how many shoes should a person be traveling with, and what styles of shoes do you recommend for spring and summer?
Well, I do recommend limiting the shoes, but I don't recommend, bringing just so little that you might have to buy a pair. You might be walking a lot. I don't wear the same shoe every day when I'm home, so I don't want to wear the same shoe when I'm traveling. So it's not really good for your feet, I think, unless you want to, if it's a hiking or a very active kind of a trip, then you might want to just, maybe you have a hiking shoe and something else. But if it's a trip to Europe, you know, people like to dress up a little more there. If you want to fit in, then you have to have, you know, not an evening shoe, but a shoe with a heel. You have to bring, I think, at least one for the plane and then 2 other shoes. So, I mean, whatever you're wearing on the plane, and then two other pairs. But I would just like, some shoes are very heavy in the hand and heavy, just make sure they're lighter weight.
Right.
But I like to bring at least 3 and then 1 on the plane, whatever I have for the plane.
Great. And we should have something for the evening, right?
Definitely something for the evening.
And something for walking.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Adrienne, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your editing process.
Yeah.
So how, and I know that, you know, you're all about content. So you're always thinking about, you know, how outfits are going to look in photos. So do you actually pack your suitcase considering the outfit pictures that you're going to be taking at your destination?
Yeah, yes. I think there's like 2 scenarios I always have. It's because, you know, when you're traveling, sometimes you're going somewhere a bit more tropical, like have that like I just got back from Tulum, and, you know, it was very plush, very free, you know, packing certain swimsuits that I knew would make you look good, or, you know, I always, my editing process, I'll kind of look at, okay, maybe going Friday, Monday, I always look at the days I'm going, and look a day out, night out, so looking at a loose itinerary that I might have and really going through that. So I think looking at the days, lining it up, but now what I've noticed in my own behavior of packing has evolved a bit. I like to take like 1 or 2 days to pack. Like I'll lay everything I think I want to wear out and I'll kind of go through it. And then as I get closer to the trip, it's funny, I'm like, I actually don't need half of this. And so I think that saves me space-wise really quickly. Because at first, like as an editor, you're like, okay, like you cast a wide net and then you come in and you're like, okay, this is actually what I'm going to wear. And it's funny, as I take away certain pieces and then I come back from a trip and I'm like, I still didn't wear half of this.
Right.
So I like giving myself breathing room while I'm packing to really look at it, sit with it and be like, okay, because sometimes I'll come up with crazy what if scenarios in my head of like, you know, what if I want to take a picture here, or what if I want to do, and it's funny, as you pack, like as you sit with what's in your suitcase, you're just like, maybe I don't need that, and so I'll start slowly taking it away.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. It's like sort of a trial run of having your suitcase with you and pretending you're at the destination. And do you have all the things you want to wear? Mm-hmm. Or do you have 2 things? Yeah. And I mean, Anne, you're an expert on this stuff. So what are your best editing down tips?
Well, as both Mimi and Adrienne said, it's a good idea to put things out in advance. And I love that tip about putting it out. I do the same thing a couple days in advance. And I actually hang items up on a over the door hook hanger where they have like 3 hooks. And then I literally hang each outfit and then I add the jewelry to that and put the shoes down below. So I visually can see, as Adrienne mentioned, every time I walk to and from through down the hallway to the bedroom, I'm looking at it thinking, oh, I love that together. Or I've never worn that together. Why am I thinking that will work for this trip? So it's just that visual continual thought of what will I be doing? What will I need to wear? What will be comfortable? And I'm all about comfort. And I also hang up my what I'm going to wear in the plane outfit next to it so that I look at that and say, that is my favorite comfortable pair of black pants, as Mimi mentioned, that I can wear a couple different ways and think, how can I dress it up? How can I make it casual to go just for a walk in the morning with a coffee when I wake up to get to know the neighborhood that I'm in? So exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that idea of styling your outfits and kind of like living with them before you pack them. Instead of just throwing everything into your suitcase and discovering it when you arrive, right?
Yes. And it's usually panic packing. You want to avoid panic packing. So by starting that a week in advance, looking at it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So true. I'd like to add that what I like to do too is take pictures. I'm sure you all do that too. But then, you know, if I'm sitting on the train, I'll just look through my pictures and then, you know, you can always think of what you're doing and edit from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great idea. So Mimi, so I'm actually wondering, as a stylist, what packing trips you've learned and apply in your own personal life. So I guess that's one of them with the photos. Are there any others? Do you carry a mini prop kit everywhere you go?
I actually, bring a few things, but there are certain, like, I like to bring static guard because, and there's, I think you get a lot, out of the hotel sewing kit, believe it or not, these little things. I have a little visual aid
Mhm.
because they're already pre-threaded, and, for little, errors, little mishaps on the clothing, that really helps. And there's also, the tape, well, it used to be 2-pin tape, now it's called Hollywood tape. So I bring those things, and you'll be surprised. Like when I'm on a shoot, I have safety pins. So sometimes, I use a safety pin to hold up my hair, while I'm holding. So you kind of become very inventive, as I said, when you're traveling with what you have. But yeah, it's I've learned, it's for a photo shoot, it's quite difficult to travel. We have these big, huge trunks on wheels. The best travel where I can be more minimal is if I'm going to a warm destination. If you're going to a warm destination, those clothes are so light for photo shoots. But if you can, keep everything, just roll it up. But if you're going to, if you're shooting coats and things that are winter-like and boots, then you're just going to have to carry that big trunk on wheels. But I love Anne's suggestions for packing, and I've done a lot of recommendations for travel and leisure as far as packing, rolling as opposed to laying flat. I kind of go, on it, one way or the other, depending on what the trip is, as far as how to actually pack. Packing cubes are good too, because you put the packing cubes, and the packing cube can go right in the hotel drawer. What another thing that I like to do when I get to the hotel is I just unpack everything and hang it. I either have a steamer in the hotel because if I'm on a shoot, or you can ask for a steamer, because I think the number one thing, styling tip I learned, I think everyone knows this too, but steaming your clothes just makes you look, makes the clothing look so much better. So in the very least, I would hang them, and then you can spend your time not even thinking about your clothes and just,
Would
hang
you
them, put them in the.
Would you recommend carrying a travel steamer with you as part of your kit?
Yeah. Yes. However, it's a little difficult if you go to some countries where the electricity is different, but yeah, a small travel steamer, definitely.
What power adapter should also be part of your kit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and Mimi just brought up the fold versus roll conundrum. Yeah. So, and where do you stand on folding versus rolling for a suitcase?
I've analyzed this for years, and always I'm asking travelers and experts like everyone here. And I usually do 50-50 depending on the fabric. So if it's knit and it won't wrinkle, I roll it. It saves space. And I found the tighter you roll your item, the less the wrinkles. However, when it's something that will wrinkle, cottons, things that are good for hot weather usually, my secret is I slip them into a dry cleaner bag. And then I pack it, and I do an interlayering method where I keep it flat, whether it's a dress or a blouse or a cotton, anything. And that plastic rubs on the plastic so you won't get wrinkles. And I've been doing this for over 25 years. It is the miracle cure to wrinkles.
That is so smart. I love that.
I second that.
Mimi, do you do that also?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I second that. Yeah, there is something about the properties of the dry cleaner plastic that make clothes wrinkle less. It's just, it just works.
Oh, I love this. This is going to be my top tip now. Thank you.
And if you're in a hotel and you need an extra bag, or you don't have one to come home, they also have the laundry bag usually hanging in the closet, the plastic. And even if you just put any plastic in between your layers, so you could even use a plastic bag of any sort, a kitchen bag works perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. I love that. And are you, once you have everything packed so neatly in your suitcase, are you leaving any room in there for shopping like I do whenever I travel, or for souvenirs that you're bringing back home? Or are we buying a separate suitcase? What are we doing?
We have options, right? And it depends on the trip. Like Mimi mentioned earlier, it totally depends on how you're traveling. If I do only carry on, I'm usually using every inch in my carry-on bag, to be honest with you, getting there. So I take a little expandable duffel bag or a tote bag that I don't open up until I arrive at the destination. And then I pop it up and it opens up to be the size of another carry-on, but it's sturdy enough that I can check it coming home as a second bag, carry on one and check one. Because I love to look for souvenirs. If it's a place that has local artisans, I love buying handcraft jewelry, handmade anything. I love to support the local area I'm in, but I love to shop, and I think we all love to shop here. So it's good to have that extra bag that you don't have to either pay to check it going, because you don't need it, but you've got it coming home. I don't want to look for a suitcase on my vacation. The last thing I want to do is search for buying a suitcase, but they're usually available if you do need one.
If you do, yeah. If you shopped a little too much, just throw an extra suitcase in there.
Exactly. Just be cautious of the weight of the bag as we put things in. Yeah.
Yes, of course. So Adrienne, Anne just talked about accessories, and I want to talk about that also. And I know that this is something else that you're an expert in. So please tell me, what are the accessories that you bring to complete your travel looks?
Yeah.
What are the things you need to be packing?
Yes, I have like my go-to 3 I always bring with me, and then I'll kind of supplement that, of course, depending on the trip. So I'm always bringing a pair of gold hoops, medium or large. If it's, somewhere where I feel like I'll use both, I'll bring both, but I'm always, because typically I'm wearing a really small, my everyday jewelry is smaller hoops. And so when I'm going on vacation, just to elevate a look, if you're going out or going somewhere nice, I like to bring a bigger hoop. So I'm always traveling with that. I'm always bringing like a little herringbone necklace to kind of add. It's a nice layering piece if you already have everyday jewelry. I think number one, I always travel in my everyday jewelry. So my watch, my bracelets, and my earrings, but then I'll bring little pieces to supplement it. So I have my hoops, a gold like herringbone style chain necklace, and then my rings. I kind of pick and choose which ones I'll bring, but I have, some gold diamonds, maybe some emerald, like that I'll wear, that will just, again, elevate a nighttime look. And I always carry it in the same little jewelry. I bring it in my jewelry pouch. I'll bring it in my carry bag. I will not check it. I'm a little, I never want it to go missing. So I'm very particular. I'll leave my more expensive stuff at home just for peace of mind. Definitely have more contemporary, easy to layer, go with everything. I'm a gold gal, so I think it can apply for silver and rose gold as well. But just bringing simple, not too complex pieces that you can layer and can go with almost any outfit you pack is kind of where I stand with accessories.
Okay, and then we're putting them all, that's where I struggle too. So we're putting them all in a little accessory pack so that we keep them all together. Yeah,
I mean, I have a lot of my purses will have the inside zipper. I'll literally tuck it in, and that's why I keep it to 3 really small things. I'll tuck it right behind my wallet or just somewhere close to my body, so I always know where it is. Just because for me, sometimes if you're a nervous or anxious traveler, like I like to know where like my more personal items are that I would kind of freak out if I lost. So
yeah, I find that to be so important. At first when I would pack, I would throw accessories into, like you said, little pockets here and there. Then I would have the same issue with my chargers and my electronics cords. And I quickly learned that, like Mimi said before with the packing cubes, that bringing like compartments and compartmentalizing all your little things feels like such an important way to organize and make sure you can keep tabs on things as you travel, because I find it's so easy to lose things while you travel. So
and I have a tip for packing necklaces that I have a visual, so they don't get a kink in them. You can thread them through a drinking straw, and especially like an eco drinking straw, and that way they don't get a knot in them, and then put them into your little pocket. Do you know how you get a knot or a kink in your necklaces?
that is so, I always have tangled chains. Always. I'm always untangling necklaces. That's a great tip. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Adrienne, I also, speaking of little things, I also wanted to ask you, we're talking a lot about fashion, but let's also talk about beauty. What are your favorite beauty products to travel with, and how do you carry them?
So both. It kind of depends. Like I normally keep, so I love traveling first with my carry-on, like easy access, especially if you have a longer flight. I love a face mist. It can have any hydrating properties. So like maybe a rose water, a coconut, really hydrating. So you can just kind of spritz your face before, after, during the flight. I love a face mist. Obviously I think hand sanitizer and hand lotion joined everyone's travel essentials this year. So definitely those, but I think on me at all times, I love a face mist. And then in my bag, it's so funny when I travel with people, they're like, you're crazy. Cause I bring a lot of smaller beauty products, and then I have bigger ones that I'll check in my bag if they don't meet the fluid ounce rule. But I'm always traveling with a hydrating cream, just because I think as you fly, your skin becomes very dehydrated. So I always have some sort of hydrating cream with me. I travel, any like acne or pimple, if I get a spot, like, because when you travel, you tend to stress out a bit, I'll bring like spot treatment just in case. So you're not on vacation, like, oh no, what do I do? So I love bringing, any type of spot treatment that works for your skin. I love under eye masks. They're easier, they're smaller. So you can, if you travel longer than 6 hours, or you have a major time difference, it's great to have those. Sometimes I'm the girl on like the 10-hour flight with them on underneath my eyes in my seat. Always do those the next morning. I think those are great. And then I love a multi-purpose hair and body oil. I think that's great. Again, when you travel, for me at least, my skin and my hair will tend to dry a bit more. So I love having an oil that, tames the frizz in my hair. And then I can also, maybe mix with the hotel lotion for extra hydration. And it's a nice thing to like put on your legs if you're going out at night, and just kind of having like that nice shine.
Yeah, give you a little shine. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I think that, that's another thing that I learned from traveling so much, is that unique skincare issues come up when you travel. Dryness, sweating, like a lot of things you're not used to dealing with day to day. I actually have my own hack for skin while you're traveling in a tropical place. I like to carry witch hazel wipes with me, because it's natural, and it's just a great way to just give yourself kind of like a refreshing, swipe of the witch hazel wipe, and it prevents you from getting all those little pimples you would get from sweating so much in tropical places.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So, so let's see. So Anne, tell me a little bit more about if you're packing small things. You're our organizational expert here. So if you're packing other little things like beauty products, wires for electronics, accessories, any of the little things, do you have any other tips for keeping things tidy and accountable?
I do. As Mimi mentioned, we all love packing cubes. So I love the fact they now have compression packing cubes. So they literally save even more space with an extra zipper. But for packing liquids, we all have to carry our 311 bag for going on the carry-on bag. And here's my secret, because liquids can take up a lot of space, and sometimes you just need a little bit of moisturizer. And I love the fact that you can use contact lens holders for just a little bit of moisturizer, or a couple of these. Don't take up much space in your quart-size bag. And you save space with all those, maybe a little bit of hair gel, or all these different items that Adrienne's mentioned. You don't need 12 ounces of shampoo for a 2-week trip.
Yes, that's so brilliant. I love that. I don't wear contacts. I'm going to be buying a contact lens case.
You can buy 3 of them for almost nothing. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to forget this, Adrienne. I know that you are an expert in swimwear, and we are, probably all going to be favoring warm destinations where we're going to be packing our swimsuits. I know I did. But here in Mexico, I packed a lot of bikinis. I packed a lot of swimsuits that look great in photos. And then I realized that I'm swimming in the ocean. I'm swimming in these swimming holes we have called cenotes, and I am not comfortable swimming in my little bikini. So I needed something a little sportier. So I was hoping you could talk to us a little bit about the kinds of swimsuits you should pack for a trip, the kinds of different swimsuits, and what is on trend for this season.
So I think first and foremost, I think the beauty of packing, and I'm sure Anna Mimi will agree, packing for a tropical place is swimsuits are small. So I tend to, swimsuits, I'm like, okay, well, I need all of these, and you can really put them in your packing cube and they take up almost no space. So it's like, as opposed to packing for a ski trip and you have, your snowsuits and they take up a lot of space. So I think that first, the beauty of swimsuits is don't be afraid, to pack that one piece that's a simpler jersey fabric that you're not scared to, if it snags on the side of the pool, if it's not, don't be scared to throw that in your bag because it's not going to take up a lot of space. But I do think one of the trends that has, come to surface over the last year or two is having this like nice textured swim, like new brands like Hate and Hunza G. They have like ribbing and more of like it's kind of like a luxurious elevation to your classic silhouettes, right? Like you'll have your scoop neck one piece, your triangle bikini, styles and silhouettes, that look good on your body and in photos. And they kind of have updated it from like a boring solid color into having like a nice thicker elevated knit fabric, or maybe something like sparkly that looks both really good in photos and actually is fine to swim in. So I think opting maybe an elevated fabric and a silhouette you love, I think is really surfaced this year. And then I think kind of like we touched on before, laying out your outfits, do you know if you're going to just hang at the beach all day and chill and relax, like pack that swimsuit. And then if you want to take a photo, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I just did it in Tulum. I brought a swimsuit I knew I really wanted to photograph in. I wore it for 15 minutes, took it off and right back on the one. So I think don't be scared to, if you really love something and it's small, throw it in, because you don't want any regret when you're traveling, right? You don't want to be sitting, I wish I packed this. So I think that's the luxury of swim, is it's small.
Yeah, that's true. So just when in doubt, just pack as many as you can.
Yeah, I always joke. I'm like in the summer, whether I'm in, I live in Miami when I was in New York, we always went to the beach. I was like, I never leave my house without a swimsuit in my purse.
That's like, what we do here too. Sometimes just wear it at all times.
Yeah.
So that thicker fabric you're discussing, so is that also going to like provide some more support for me as well? Because my concern is also, how do we shop for on-trend swimsuits that also fit our bodies well?
Yeah, I think the technology in swim fabric has evolved immensely over the past few years, whether it's sustainable or, having that hybrid fabric, that, hugs your body, accentuates your body in all of the right places, yet has a sheen that looks good in photos. I think a lot of designers are, coming up with this multi-purpose look of having, maybe there's 3 brands like off the top of my head, like Jade Swim does a really beautiful job with their fabrics and how they fit and how they look in photos. And Kate and Hunza G, I think, having these textures, they're kind of like, if you remember from the 90s, like the little scrunchy tops, and then when you put them on, it like fit you like a glove.
Yeah.
And then the seaming as well, I would say for sure, pay attention to the seaming of swimsuits you're buying. Does it have 2 front seams? Because those, darts will really, if your stomach is, you're kind of shy or a problem area or whatever it is for you, or where you want to feel comfortable, look at the seaming, does the back have seaming? Does the side, really? And then also too, the necklines, I think like the square neckline is huge this summer. And I think like having that really flattering neckline that of course can then double as a top too if it's a one piece, looking at there's just such a variety now with swim that while there are a lot of great trends, like there's so many different silhouettes that accentuate the body and make you look and feel good.
Yeah. And I feel like swimsuits are looking so good these days that I'm wearing a one piece swimsuit with shorts, and that's my outfit for the day.
Exactly.
And then what about accessories when I'm sitting by the pool or by the beach? Should I be bringing myself like a nice sun hat or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think in terms of packing, and Anne, maybe you have a better tip. I mean, sun hats are a little tricky to pack. I think that was my favorite thing about traveling to tropical places. That's the one thing I would maybe splurge on, or like make sure I bought it, like, you know, going and checking out the logo. I like love seeing the hats there. So like day one, I'm buying a sun hat because, you know, protecting your face from the sun is very important. But sun hats are something I love buying when I'm there. And then when I'm returning, I kind of just will throw it in my carry-on or wear it on the plane. But yeah, I think, you know, having a cute beach bag, or, you know, a pool slide that you really love, that a nice pool slide that can double as, you know, cute to the beach and also for a night out at dinner, I think is really great accessories wise. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are just dragging that sun hat on the plane with us, are we not? Or do you have a trick for that?
No, they make so many great sun hats now. They have packable ones that are rolling. You can roll them and then they pop right back up. There's even straw hats that are very fashionable that are packable. You can certainly put it in your carry-on bag and pack in the center of it and pack around it so that it isn't squished. So if it isn't packable, put it in your suitcase and pack around it and stuff things inside to keep the shape.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Just roll something up, stick it in the top part of the hat, and then it won't get bent out of shape.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, let's talk a little. We touched on the plane outfit a little bit, but I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth because I personally am all over the place with what I wear on the plane. So let's talk about what we all wear on the plane and why, and what the strategy is here for dressing for the plane. So Mimi, let's start with you. What is your best advice for what to wear on the plane?
Well, I like to dress up dress up. I like that whole idea. I mean, I have a uniform, but it's just a little more elevated. I like to wear, like I said, the slim. I wear my favorite pair of jeans actually, or you know, you can go with the slim black pants. I usually wear a blazer. A knit blazer is great too because it's very flexible. So I'll wear a blazer. I love to wear. I have a pair of Ferragamo loafers that I adore, and I wear those. And it has this buckle actually that you can change to switch it around to gold or silver. So it's great. It's versatile in that way. And I always bring, you know, a pashmina or something because it does get cold on the plane, and a great tote bag. I mean, I kind of plan it. I mean, it's nice psychologically to, you know, just because I love traveling so much, to like just start off the trip dressed up a little bit, you know, in your best, whatever it might be. If it's like sweatpants, it's your most elevated sweatpants, it's the cashmere or something like that if you want to. But I like to have that whole idea of being a little more dressed up for going on the plane. Just sets the tone, and it's just, for me, it's fun. It's experiential. It's like part of the beginning of a great adventure.
Yeah.
So I like to dress up for that. Yeah.
I love that.
But you know, so yeah. I mean, the knit blazer is a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, it's comfortable, and then, you know, but it gives a structure to your look.
Mm-hmm.
Blazer and jeans is kind of the way to go.
That's a great idea, knit blazer. It's cozy,
Yeah.
but still a blazer. I love that. Yeah, I think there are, you know, we come from two different viewpoints. There are the people that want to dress glamorous so that they arrive in their destination looking fantastic. And then there are those of us who just want to dress like we are almost in our pajamas. So, so you're the former.
I mean, you know, it is a stressful, you know, getting on a plane is very stressful. You know, all we have to go through since security. And so it's best psychologically to start off just, you know, by the time you get there, you're a little disheveled, you know. So it's just better to start off as high as you can, as far as, that's what I think. I mean,
Love that.
yeah, it's a stressful experience. So you want to start it off, you know, in the best state of mind, and dress is part of that.
Yeah. Adrienne, do you agree with that? How do you dress for the plane? What's your advice for dressing for the plane?
Actually, yes, but and when it comes to the actual, I'm freezing all the time. So there's nothing, like sometimes if I want to look good and maybe wear a dress or maybe wear shorts if I'm going, so I'm off the plane, and if I'm going somewhere hot, but I can't do it because I just know I'll be freezing. So I'm very much, I like, you know, matching knit sets. I love a nice, like, you know, crew neck sweatshirt that then matches my pants. I love a matching loungewear set when I'm traveling. And I'm really all about layers because there's nothing worse to me than being freezing on the airplane, like not having, like an extra. I even have like a little like LLB, like little Sherpa thing I'll bring with me just because I'm naturally very cold. So for me, layers is key too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I
you're in
agree.
lounge doesn't mean it can't be elevated, right? Like you can wear a cute loungewear set with, a sneaker and maybe put the blazer over. So many different layering options you can do. But for me, I wish I could like look really, cute on the plane, but I'm just cold. So I like to be cozy.
Right, right. Yeah, I know for myself, we've covered on Yahoo Life so much glamorous loungewear. So I think
Mhm.
during lockdown, we
that's-
all got a lot of practice in stylish, comfy clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, I think it's time for me to start giving you guys a few questions from our wonderful attendees. So let me see. Okay, well, we have some people who have pitched in and given us advice also. Metallic shoes go with everything, Catherine told us. Let's see. Someone else is all about airplane pants. So we have our very specific pants just for airplanes. All right, we have a question for, well, it could be for anyone, but let's ask, I believe it was Anne who talked about packing the steamer. Was it Anne or Mimi?
Mimi.
It was Mimi, okay. Someone wants to know, Millie wants to know, what is a good brand of travel steamer?
I think there are so many now, but Conair is a good one. I use that a lot for shoots. So it really holds up. So there's a Conair one, but and then there's also the classic Jiffy steamer. It's Jiffy. They're the kind of the first ones who came out with steamers many years ago, and now they have a travel size. But I would check on Amazon. I was surprised to find, about a couple of years ago, I invested in one for my bathroom because I had the space and I was so excited. So I got one on Amazon. I don't know the brand, but it was very reasonable. And I think the innovations have really, gotten so much better. So whatever brand you buy, they're pretty good. I mean, I'm surprised that I spent $80 and it's really well worth it. And I got it on Amazon. But there is a Conair one that I use professionally and take on shoots.
Mm-hmm.
That's a handheld.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, we have a question for everyone about carry-on bags. I feel like this is such an important question. So this is from I'm going to mispronounce your name, but Vade, hi. What is your favorite carry-on to pack and travel most efficiently? And this question is for everyone.
Well, I'm a total believer in a 4-wheel spinner bag because it's so much easier to take through long airports. Travel Pro happens to be one of my favorites. They've been in the business for years, and with the 4 wheels I love. And then with my carry-on bag, I also take a personal bag, and my purse goes inside my personal bag, which slides down the handle. So I love a Bagolini bag that slides down the handle, so it's more secure. So it doesn't spin around, so your shoulder bag isn't hitting your legs.
I'm a huge fan. I mean, I love Away Rimowa that have the hard shell, especially for carry-ons, because it's kind of like a guaranteed, like gone are the days of you like guessing if your carry-on's going to fit in the overhead. They strategically design them to fit in the overhead. And for me, as opposed to like a cloth, if I had a cloth carry-on, I would pack it full and it would never fit. And so I think like having a hard shell case, make sure that you don't overpack and it will always like fit in the overhead, I think, for me, or else I would overpack and it wouldn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
I second that, Adrienne. I have a Rimowa for many years. It is so like 15 years, and it's small enough for a short trip to a warm destination, and it fits in the overhead because I hate lifting. It's just like struggling with that to go in the overhead is just not fun at all. So it's small enough, but I fill every corner of that thing, and I use it for all my short trips. Rimowa, it just lasts. I have lots of different other brands that I love, but like I think there's one Rome. I'm actually forgetting the name, but it's fully customizable. You can use different colors, you know, for the zipper and for the exterior. It's fun to design that. And but I have to say the Remo is really stands the test of time.
Okay, great. Well, it's about time we wrap this up. I wish we could talk about this forever. Really, this is one of my favorite topics. But I want to thank Mimi, Anne, and Adrienne for being here today and giving us some great knowledge. Now we're all ready to buy our tickets and head off someplace warm probably. I want to thank all our attendees for joining us. I thank you for all the great tips and all the great questions, and it was wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Happy travels, everyone.
Absolutely.
Happy travels to you too.